This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. So let's continue today's topic. In yesterday's topic, we have done with variables, facts, and other things. Now, today we are going to do a very important task with Ansible that you might be doing every day in your working environments. This is really an important part related to Ansible, doing different tasks and all. See, what happens in our working environments is we would be, let me take a paintbrush instead of this, I'm sorry. So what happens is from the centralized location, we will push the code or whatever task we want to do. And on multiple machines, that particular thing will be deployed. And that's the reason Ansible is called as continuous integration or continuous deployment tools through which you can push the code and complete your task. So basically, sometimes for security reason, what we have to do is this is my master node from which we are pushing all the codes and all. And we have clients. So mhost1, mhost2, mhost3, these are all the clients on which we are trying to deploy or integrate certain things. So mhost1, mhost2, and let us say mhost3. Now, out of all, maybe for security reason, what we have to do is all hosts might be using same SSH ports and services. Maybe mhost1 is using port number 22 for SSH. mhost3 is also using port number 22. But let us say that mhost2 is not going to work with port number 22. So we have to configure mhost2 with a different port number. Maybe I wanted to open a different port number, 222 or quadruple two or any custom port, whatever you wanted to use. So my requirement is from the master node, I want to configure mhost2 for a different port number. See, whenever you are using a customized port number, what are the steps we will do? Say, I ask you people to visit my blog and my website, musab.in, and here I have kept one video tutorial that how you can change the default port in SSH. So what basically we do over here is we'll go to the configuration file etc sshd config, and we will allow custom port number right inside it, whatever port number you wanted to allow. Then you have to update SE Linux by running this command se manage port, so that that port number is not blocked by SE Linux. See, there are dual layer of security. First of all, firewall might also be blocking that port number, and on the other hand, SE Linux will also block the port number. So both places you have to tell allow that port number. So first of all, we will be telling it to SE Linux to allow that port number, and finally in firewall we will mention that please allow port number 2222, something like that. Then we have to reload the firewall. Finally, we have to restart the service. So if I'm doing it manually on one machine, I will log in into that machine and I will do it, isn't it? But in this case, from master node, I wanted to do that. So in this example, you might be given such task in your examination also, RHCE exam, that you have to configure a machine with this. So anyway, even if it is not given, this something you must know so that in your working culture, if any configuration files you have to edit, services you have to restart, how to do that. So the task is on mhost 4, I wanted to enable one more port number 222. Right, default port is 22. I don't want to stop default port. Let 22 also work, or if you want, you can block 22 and allow 222. That is your choice. Then we want Ansible user should be able to connect mhost 4 on new SSH port number. So see, don't worry about Ansible user is created or not. I just wanted to test any user is able to connect with port number 222 or not. It can be any XYZ user, doesn't worry, right? Then we have to update the inventory file that always mhost 4 should be connecting through port number 222. Let me first check it out. Is that port number 222 working with mhost 4 or not? So I'll be telling SSH hyphen P, the port number is 222 and I want to connect to mhost 4. So you see, it says there is no port number allowed to connect with 222. That means you have to connect with the default port number only. All right. So here we have to do that configuration. So step number one, we need to update configuration in other machine so that these things are allowed. Now, in order to work with these concepts, what we have to do is we can take a specific user, and that user we can ask to do all these tasks. So basically there is a great list of tasks. First we will start with task number one, right? So in this I want mhost 4 to listen on non-default port of SSH 222. So Ansible should be able to connect mhost 4 on a new port number, that is 222. So I don't want to go to client, log into it and perform that task. Everything I want to do it from my command center, that is Ansible master node, right? So in order to achieve this concept, we'll do it through ad hoc command. See, what I'm trying to do over here is I would like to go to a particular file. In that file, one line I want to change. So let me just log in into our fourth machine, that is mhost 4, and let me show you what is the changes in SSH config file. So basically you can check it through master node only by saying cat command and all, but just I wanted to show you. If you go to grep and the word port in etc ssh sshd underscore config. So you see port number 22, this line is commented. What is my requirement is I wanted to uncomment this line, and below this line I want to pass one more parameter, port equals to 222 or quadruple two, whatever, right? So by default I want to allow port number 22, and also I want to allow double two or triple two, whatever, right? So first task is to uncomment this line. Second task, below that line adding one more line. So if you want to open a file and make any changes in that file, we'll go with a module called line in file. So line in file module will allow you to go to a particular file, search for a specific line and make the changes in that line. So let's do Ansible doc. You can say Ansible doc line in file. So it says that this module ensures a particular line in a file, or you can replace existing line with different thing. So let's go simply to the bottom and let's learn few things. See, if you wanted to make a change after a specific line, you can use insert after that option. Or if you want to put a new line before some line, then you can go for insert before. So I'll say search this line, before this line add something, or after this line add something. That's what we can do it with insert after and insert before. First match in the file wherever this line is found. Maybe in a file the same term is repeated multiple times. So I can say whenever first it matches, just replace that line inside it. You can also take backup. You can totally change the line by using line option. So this will insert or replace a new line into a file, right? So if we go a little below, we'll find, and we also have a regular expression. Now this regular expression will look for a specific expression, and there you can either keep that line or remove that line. So you can say search a line, state equals to present, the line will be there. State equals to absent, the line will be deleted, right? Like that. So you can also take backup of the file before editing if you think that it might affect something which you don't want, so it may go and make the change. So you see here is one of the option that there is a config file etc se linux config. Now inside it, it wanted to search a line that starts. See, cap means starting that particular word. So search a line that start with a word se linux equals to. Now, in place of this, so reg expression will search that particular expression. Then after that, I'm telling line. When you say line, that means you want to totally replace that line. So you says that in place of this line, you type totally this thing, se linux equals to something. Or if you wanted to delete one word, so you can say search for the line wheel and state equals to absent. So that particular line will be deleted, right? Or you wanted to go to etc host, search a line starting with 127.0.0. See, whenever there is a dot, you should use backslash dot, backslash dot. So search this line, and in place of that line, you put something like this. So we can do many things inside a line, and you can make the changes. You can also ask it to collect the backup and keep the file. See, I'll tell you about that backup, how we can take the backup or enable the backup also, so that a new backup file will be created before editing. In case if you did make a mistake, you can replace back with original file. Anyway, so let's go and do it with a ad hoc command first of all, right? I want to perform this task with command, not with any playbook, right? So we'll say Ansible go to mhost4, use a module line in file, right? And the argument. First of all, I need to give the path that which file you want to edit. So I'll say I wanted to edit a file etc ssh sshd underscore config, right? Then I want to look out for this line expression. So if you are looking for a line that start with a particular word, so if you just look out in SSH configuration file, you see this line is starting with hash, then port, then value. So I want to uncomment it. I don't want to delete it. So what I'll do, I'll say regular expression. I am looking for the expression that starts with hash, port. Find this line. And the next thing I'm telling is modify that line or replace that line with a new word, that is port 222 or port 22, right? See why we are doing this option over here -u root. Suppose if you are trying to work this command as an Ansible user, we have also created one Ansible user. So if you have created that Ansible user, then you have to do this task as root. Let me show you that also for better understanding. Suppose I am doing the same task as a normal user. normal user. Let me go with su hyphen Ansible. Now, if you just check it out, Ansible hyphen hyphen version. So it is also listening to default configuration file. Now, in the previous examples, I have to come back to that. See here, what you can do is you can create your own configuration file where in home, Ansible and tasks folder so that this user must have its own config file. So if you want, before we can go with that, let's do this tasks. Okay, so what I'm going to do is as an Ansible user. So you see, I have logged in as Ansible user. I thought of showing you later, but okay. See what happens in your real scenarios is we might not get root access. So we need to authorize a normal user to do all these tasks. So I have created already in previous class a user called Ansible user. Now I want to authorize this user to perform all these tasks, right? So first of all, in your home directory, I want to create one more directory with the name called tasks. So you can create a directory called tasks, go to tasks directory, and here let's create ansible.cfg file. Now inside it, I'm telling that I'm going to create an inventory file in home Ansible task M nodes. So this user, I wanted to maintain a separate inventory. I wanted to maintain a separate config file, everything totally configured separately for this user. So I'm going into this configuration and we are giving two roles location. Roles, we have to talk about it. Roles means according to what role, admin, non-admin, and there are many constants that we have to discuss, like if it is Red Hat, what is the role? If it is Windows administrator kind of thing. So as per our task list, it says that roles directory path should be home Ansible task role, and it should also be some another task, right? So we wanted to give a default role location is etc Ansible roles, and for this user I want one more, that is home Ansible tasks and a file called roles. Remote port number to connect 22. Remote user with which I have to do all the access is Ansible user. So what I'm trying to expect over here is each machine, whatever we are trying to work with, we are expecting that on each machine there is an Ansible user. So master node will work with Ansible user, and all the clients will also work with Ansible user. So I'm telling that all the tasks, whatever I'm doing on the client, should be done by the user called Ansible. So we have one more role to be done. What we need to do is we need to create a user on all the clients whichever we are working with, right? So I need to go to each and every machine and create Ansible. Now with Ansible master node, it is very simple. You can say Ansible all, go with user module and create a user. But only creating user is not enough. We should also add a password. So I'm going to show you how to create a user and give an encrypted password in a short while, right? So remote user is nothing but I want on the client side all the tasks to be performed by Ansible user. Okay. Then module name, default module command. So whenever I'm doing ad hoc command, I don't want to type -m command because I'm going to set it as a default module. Folks 5. That means in a single attempt, 5 machines it should target. Privilege escalation. See, whenever I connect to remote user as Ansible, do you want to use pseudo privileges? So you need to say becomes equal to true, or here I am disabling, because as per the task mentioned, see, this is how the question might come in your examination, that do this thing in the inventory file, right? So it might tell us that privilege escalation must be disabled. So if this says that privilege escalation must be disabled, then we have to say become equals to false. If they say that privilege escalation should be enabled, then we have to say privilege equals to become equals to true. So anyway, to lessen our work, I'm just copy pasting the stuff. Right, so defaults, all the parameters I have given. So we have created a task folder. Now inside it, I need to create m nodes file and keep all our inventory detail. Now you might get one more requirement that in inventory file. So go to home, Ansible, tasks directory and create a file mnodes. Now you may get one more requirement that mhost1 must be part of a group prod1, mhost2 must be part of a group prod2. So two groups we have to create. You know how to create groups in the inventory file. So I'll say vim and nodes. Inside it, I have to create two group. Let me shorten it so that the tasks is above. So how to create a group in a square bracket? You can say prod1. In prod1, I wanted to keep only one machine mhost1. Then I want to create another prod2, right? And here I want to mention mhost2. Then it says I must add mhost3 and mhost4 in another group called web servers. So what we will do, we'll take again a square bracket and we'll say web servers. Inside it, I'll keep mhost3 as well as mhost4. Now guys, here you see there might be a question in interviews also or in general also, can I make a group part of another group? That means I have a group prod1. Now I want to make prod1 a group of web server also. Is it possible? Can I make a group as a part of another group? Of course. So this is what it is asking here. It says prod1 and prod2 must be a participant of one more group called prod. So here I need a parent group and a child group. So it's like a main group and subgroup. How can I do that? For here, you have to say prod is one group, colon, children. So when you type children, that means it says that, okay, there is a main group called prod, and inside prod, there are two subgroups. What is that? Prod1 and prod2. This is called making a parent and child group in inventory file. So what we'll do, we'll create one more parent group here called prod, and we'll add children to it. What is the children? The parent group called, another group called prod1 and prod2. So prod1, prod2, whatever members you add in prod1 and prod2, both will be working under a main group called prod, right? And one more requirement is here. It says that there must be another group called Linux. Now this Linux group should include all manage host inside it. So there are basically three groups, guys. Prod1, Prod2, web server. But you see prod1 and prod2 is a part of prod. So I can say make a main group Linux, and the childs for Linux should be web server and prod. So all will come inside it. So what I'll do now, I'll make one more main group, and the main group name is Linux, and we'll add children to it. What are the children of Linux? The children of Linux is web servers, and I wanted to add prod also. So this is what the requirement they might post it in the question paper, that they'll say that the task is you have to do task 1, task 2, task 3. So according to task given we have to do, and believe me, this is what we have to do, and this is what will be helpful to us in our working cultures also, right? So you can make group as a part of another group by using group name and children, and inside it you can add more subgroups. Now let's test it. How can we test it? See, you can say Ansible. Maybe I'll test prod1 and I'll say list hosts. Now you see, as a normal user, I'm able to list it out because I'm just viewing my inventory, nothing else. Same way, I can go and check it out what is inside prod 2, or you can say show me prod. So it says prod is having M host 1 and M host 2. Or maybe I can say show me the details about web servers, right? Or I can say show me what is inside Linux group. Linux contains everything, so it might display everything inside it, M host 1 to 4. So like that, we can make categorize of a group. So this is a pictorial represented. We have Linux as a main group, which has two subgroup, web server and prod. In web server, we have two hosts. In prod, we have two groups, and each group is divided into one host. Okay, now if you try, you can do ping test. Basically, it might not allow you to do ping test. If I say Ansible all hyphen ping and I'll say hyphen O. You can say K also so that it may ask password. But anyway, I have not set up anything, so there is no Ansible user on the other side. Okay, see, it is asking us to say yes or no whenever it is connecting to each machine. We have a solution for this also. I don't want it to ask me that fingerprints whenever I'm connecting. How can I disable it? See, I'll take you for this to our root user first of all. Let's go to etc ansible.cfg. Now, if we go through this Ansible configuration file, we might come across some SSH option. See, uncomment this to disable SSH key host checking. That means whenever I'm trying to connect to other machine, it is asking to accept yes or no. See, when we are automating the things, it is difficult to sit and say yes or no every time, isn't it? So if you want to disable it, then you can pass this parameter host underscore key underscore checking equals to false. So what I'm trying to say is, don't ask me the question that to check the SSH key every time you are connecting. Okay, so let's put this thing in our configuration file and let's see how it will work. So let me go back again to Ansible user. In Ansible user, go to tasks. Inside task, go to ansible.cfg and let us pass one parameter here, host key checking false. Let me repeat the command what we have done earlier. Oh, it's still asking for a fingerprint. Basically, when we put that, it should not ask for fingerprint. Let me go back and verify where is the mistake I'm doing. Am I doing a correct change or not? Sorry about this. etc ansible.cfg. Let me just mm, host key checking. This is the path. I guess it should work. When we pass that parameter, it should not check for the key and ask for fingerprint. Okay, let me just look out for any other thing. I have uncommented it. I did not in this file. We have to uncomment it in our personal config file, what we have created. Okay, so I don't want to disturb the main file. For Ansible user, we have created a separate file. In that file, I want to do that. So maybe am I doing the correct change or not? Let me just confirm it. Private key. One moment. If not, I'll just check it out where the mistake I'm doing and I'll let you know. Okay, let me just do some workaround and I'll let you know which is the exact parameter we have to change. I thought that parameter might work, but anyway, I need to do some homework on that. So let me switch myself to Ansible user. I'll go to task folder. Let me go to ansible.cfg. Host key checking, we have checked for false. Anyway, let me check it out later. I'll say for I in 1 2 3 4 do ssh mhost $I done. So it should not actually ask for this thing. I'll confirm how to work with that. Okay. See, if I have 100 machines, this is not a true thing to do. I cannot just try connecting and disable that. So I'll tell you exactly where is the mistake. Okay, now it is not going to ask you that keys checking and all, but you see it is failed. Why it is failed? Because you don't have permission to perform this task on the other machine as Ansible user. So here what you can do is you can type a username as which user you want to do the task. So I'll say I want to do it as a root user. Now root user definitely will have the task, this thing to work with that. But again, the problem is I haven't done passwordless connectivity between Ansible and root user. That's the reason I'm not able to work with that. Anyway, if I switch myself to root, and as a root, if I go to home Ansible tasks, now you say Ansible hyphen hyphen version, you see it is going to work with my current location config file. Now in this, if I try to say Ansible all, do a ping test, right? So it might try to perform the task again as Ansible user. So I'm getting the result not reachable. This time, if I say work as root user, so now root to root communication we have already set in our first class itself. We have set up root to root connectivity. So you see mhost 4321 all are able to communicate. So anyway, once we authorized Ansible user to do this task, we no need to come to root. We can directly work with Ansible user itself. Okay, so let's move on. So we have done all that thing, and now we will come back to this particular user. Now the thing is we want to go to other machine and we want to uncomment a line and pass the parameter as port 22. So be as a root because only as a root you can do this task as of now. So I am in our tasks folder where my configuration is there. If you just check it out, Ansible hyphen hyphen version, it is telling you that Ansible is going to obey the configuration file which is present in my current location. Okay, great. So as per that configuration, it may allow me to do the task. So I need to mention that I have to do all the tasks as root. So I'll say Ansible, go to mhost4 and go with a module line in file and the arguments. What is the argument? You have to first set path, which file you wanted to edit. So I'll say edit a file etc/sshd underscore config. Now what you want to do, I'll say search for a regular expression, and the expression I want to mention that it is starting with cap, I mean hash, and port in capital P. So this thing I wanted to modify, and in that place I want to mention a new line, and that new line is port 22. Okay, and you see if I hit enter, this command will fail because it will try to do the task as Ansible user. You remember in the configuration file, if I take you above, I mentioned in the configuration file that do the task as Ansible user. Now Ansible user is not authorized, so command will fail. So I need to mention -u root. So I'll say do this task as root user. See, it has changed. Now, if I go back to mhost4, grep for port in sshd config, did you see that earlier it was commented and now it is uncommented? So from my master node, I'm able to edit a file on the other machine. Now, just below this line, I wanted to pass one more parameter, port equals to triple two or quadruple two, whatever. So I want to add one more line after this expression. So what we can do the next thing, you can say Ansible, go to mhost4 line in file, edit the same file, and you can say insert after. That means here I don't have to say regular expression now because I don't want to replace the line. I'm telling that search this keyword port and don't make change in that line. After that line, I am asking it to add a new line. What is the line? Port triple two. So we have to make a small change in the command. Instead of telling regular expression, now I'll say insert after. If you want to add before that word, then you can say insert before. If you want to modify that line, you can search for regular expression and change that line. So after that, I wanted to add a new port triple W, sorry, triple two. So same command, but this time I'm asking it to search that line and after that line add something new. Now go back over here to your mhost4, grep it out. Did you see that a new line is added? Right? So it went on to that particular file, and after the word port 22, it has added port triple two. So first step to enable any port number in SSH configuration is go to that particular file and enable that port number. So I want to keep both. That's the reason I have kept 22 also and triple two also. If you don't want 22 in place of 22, if you wanted to go with triple two, then you can better leave it commented and add just new line port triple two. Guys, just 1 minute. I'm thank you very much, guys. All right. Now, second thing, what we have to do is we need to allow that port number in SE Linux as well as firewall. So what to be done now? The next task, we need to allow port number triple two for SE Linux. See, basically there is a command called SE port. If you run that command, uh, for example, SE manage hyphen P, I guess. Let me just get a help for it. Okay, SE manage port. So let me say SE manage port hyphen L, and let me grep for SSH or SSHD. Maybe SSH. So you see, SC Linux is allowing only port number 22 to be connected. So suppose you made a mistake that only in the configuration you have granted port number 222 and you have added that in firewall also. So this is not going to work because you also need to update SC Linux. In SC Linux, this particular parameter SSH port T must allow port number 222. Now, how I'm going to do that? See here, we have to use a module called SE port. So again, guys, before going with actual command, the best thing what you can do is you have to go with Ansible doc SE port. When you go this, it will try to explain you that what are the things you can change inside it. So you need to mention protocol, which port number you want to allow, right? And SC Linux type. SC Linux type is nothing but what we have found SSH underscore port, that the parameter you have to change. So there will be an example over here, like it is telling you that SE port, which port number you want to allow, under which protocol, and what is the type. The type is HTTP port underscore T. State present. I want to add it. If you say state equals to absent, then it is going to remove that port from the configuration of SE Linux, right? So these things we have to use: ports, protocol, SE type, and state. So that's what is mentioned in our configuration file also. So over here you see I'm telling port 222, protocol TCP, SE type SSH underscore port T, and state equals to present. And again I have to do this task as root user. Okay, so let us do it. All right. I'll say Ansible on mhost 4, go with a module SE port, arguments. I wanted to allow a port number 222 with respect to TCP, state, sorry, port 222, protocol TCP, and SE type, the keyword SSH underscore port underscore T, state equals to present. And as I told you, configuration says do this as Ansible. Ansible is not yet configured, so I'm doing this as a root user. Okay, let me check what mistake I have done. O triple two prototype TCP SE type SSH underscore port underscore T, state equals to present, and do it as a root user. That's correct. Any other mistake I have done? Okay, here is the mistake. Ports, not port. So spelling mistake I did. It's a time-taking process, guys, because SE Linux needs to be updated. Okay, now it says it is added port number 222. You can just verify by going onto the other machine and repeating the same command. This time you'll see port number 22 and 222 both will be allowed to connect. And you cannot remove port number 22 as it's a default port. Default things SE Linux will not allow you to remove. You can remove the customized 222 what you have added, but if you even try to remove 22 by same absent, it will not allow you to do. 222 can be removed. Default values SE Linux may not allow us to remove. Okay, so after this thing happened, the next thing what I want to do is I want to add this particular thing in firewall also. See, firewall should also allow port number 222 with respect to TCP. So how we can do that? Again, you have to say Ansible firewall D. So in firewall D, you can find out how to add a specific port number or a particular thing. So you need to go with firewall D module. You have to mention with port number respect to which protocol. Permanent. Do you want to make this rule permanent? And state equals to enable to add a rule. State equals to disable to remove a rule. As simple as that. So what we'll do now, we'll go with firewall module. So I'll say Ansible, go to mhost4, use firewall D module arguments. So I'll say port that you want to allow. I'm sorry, one second. Okay, port I wanted to add is 222 with respect to TCP. State equals to enable to add it. Permanent. I want this rule to be permanent, so I'll say yes. And we want to do this task as root user. You see, only by adding a port number in firewall, it won't get updated. After this change is successful, the next step is to reload the service. If we are directly connected to other machine, we'll run firewall command reload and it will reload it. But here I need to go with service command, service module or systemd module. So again, Ansible doc service module. If you just look out in service module, it tells you how to start, stop, restart any service you are interested in. For example, you wanted to start a service, stop or restart a service or reload a service. So if you want to reload a service, it says you need to give service module, name of the service and state equals to reloaded, restarted, stopped, start. So we'll go with Ansible mhost4. The module name is service and the arguments I wanted to mention. Name is firewall D service. State equals to restarted or reloaded, whatever you want to do. And I want to perform this task as root. Done. Now let's go to our client side. Repeat firewall command and you'll find that port number 222 is added. Next thing, we need to restart SSH services so that it may allow us working with this port number. If you say netstat-ntlp grep for SSH, see so far SSH is only allowing us to work with port number 22. If you want to allow 222 after making all configuration changes, we need to restart SSH services. So I'll go with same command Instead of firewall D, I'll go with SSHD services. You can go with reloaded or restarted, whatever. If reload doesn't seems to work, then go with restart. Okay, now just look it out over here. You will find it is allowing port number 222. Now just test that port number. I'll say SSH mhost 4. I wanted to go with port number 222. See, no problem. I'm able to communicate, right? So port number 222 is now enabled. Such a task will be given. So we need to just go with different modules and perform that task. Now it also asks us that in inventory file, we should mention that mhost 4 should always connect with port number 222. No problem. I'm already in my tasks folder, and here is our inventory file mnodes. Go to mnodes. Where is mhost 4? Here, and you can make it a variable ansible underscore port 222. So always mhost 4 will be using port number 222 for communication. That's it. Now, another task we wanted to do, I want to generate SSH keys and all the clients. I want to make trust relationship with Ansible users. So my requirement is on the master node, there should be an Ansible user. All the clients we might have Ansible user. So master node should also have an Ansible user, and all the clients should have Ansible user. Now between master node Ansible and all the clients Ansible, there should be SSH trust relationship. So how we are going to get that? Again, with the help of Ansible module. I don't want to go to each machine and do this task. From master node, I want to perform this task. So first of all, we have to log in as Ansible user and generate SSH key on master node. So if you check it out on the master node, who am I? I'm root user. So switch myself to Ansible. Now you check who am I, right? I'm Ansible user. There is a .ssh folder. If you look into .ssh folder, there is no public private key. So let me generate it. I'll say SSH key gen. Just give enter, enter, enter quickly to go ahead with this thing. So now you see we have public key and private key generated. As you remember that SSH trust relationship, we need to copy public key on all the clients. So normally to copy that from the server side, you can run the command SSH copy ID and it is going to do that. But I don't want to do that way. I want to do it with Ansible user. See, so far Ansible user is not completely authorized. So I'm going to exit and come back as a root user. But make sure you are present in home Ansible task where Ansible configuration file is there. So I'm already in that location. That's great. Now, in order to create a user, first of all, my requirement is all the clients must have Ansible user. So we have learned this ad hoc command in previous class, so I don't have to explain you again. So with this Ansible user, I'll say Ansible go to all users, all machines, -m module. Now module, I'm using user module because as a user, I want to create it. -a argument, name of the user is Ansible state equals to present. Up to here, we have seen that. Now the next thing is we also want to add a password. See, if you want to add a password, you cannot just say password equals to something. Password must be given in an encrypted format. If you don't give it in an encrypted format, then it is not going to work out. It will not accept it. Now the question is, how can I convert the password into encryption? So here is the trick. You have to put it between two parentheses. Again, Jinja 2 expression, what we learned in last class. Type the password what you want and give it to a converter called password hash. If you just check password hash on Google, it tells you that it is used for converting a simple text into encrypted text. So red hat will be converted. Now guys, in your examination, it might ask you to generate a password in SHA 256 bit or SHA 512 bit. Now this is algorithm. 256-bit encryption or 512-bit encryption, whichever you want to go. So whatever is asked in examination, according to that we have to go, or otherwise in your working environment, whichever you want you can go. 512 will be more stronger, so you can go with that. And I wanted to perform the task as root. Excuse me, guys. Okay, so let me do this task as a root user. Now to save some time, I'm going to copy it, but I don't think copy might work properly. Right, let's run the command. Okay, I'll say Ansible on all. I want to go with user module with an argument. Name for the user to be created is Ansible. State equals to present, so that user will be created, right? And I want password in an encrypted format. I don't want it to be in a simple format. So use single quote, give two parentheses, space. Again, whatever you are typing must be in single quote. So I'll say red hat, give a space, then pipe symbol, then again a space, password underscore hash. Now this is going to convert your password into encryption. Now in a simple bracket, you need to mention which algorithm to use. The two options are available, 256 or 512. Whichever you like, you can go for it. But in examination, whatever they are asking, according to that, you must create it, right? Okay, and I want to do this operation as root user. All right, it says it is successful. You can just check it out on one of the node which is already up. So go to tail etc password. You see Ansible user is created. Go to tail etc shadow and you'll find that password is also assigned. Let's check it out. Will it work or not? So I'll say SSH uh, Ansible @mhost4. See, I'm typing the password red hat and I'm able to connect. Who am I? Ansible user. So using that encryption, we have successfully created a user. Now next thing is I have to copy the public key from master node to all the clients. How can I copy a public key? See, for SSH, we have a module called authorized underscore key. There are lots of things that are there, guys. So tomorrow I'll definitely not take that class because I want you to go through this thing. So after this, we'll configure sudo and we will stop it. We'll not go beyond that. So next thing is through authorized key module, I wanted to copy this public key to your clients. So let us go and check Ansible doc. Sorry, not on this machine. Ansible doc, and we'll go with authorized underscore key. So what this module will do, add or remove SSH authorized key for a particular user account. Again, guys, instead of seeing each option, just go to example and it might tell you what to do. First, set authorized key taken from a file. Module name authorized key. You have to mention for which user you are doing it. Ansible user. State equals to present. Which key you want to copy. See guys, the key is kept at some location. What's the location? The location I wanted to put it is in home Charlie or home ansible.ssh, and this is the public key, right? So I need to tell that thing. Maybe I have to give a path also, that from where to take it and where to put it. So if you just look out over here, I'm telling Ansible hyphen all, sorry, Ansible all hyphen m authorized key. The user for which we are doing is Ansible user, state equals to present, and the key where you have to do. So where you have to put it, I'm telling it, put it from the location home ansible.ssh id rsa.pub, and then we are mentioning path where to put it. So I'll say put it in slash home ansible.ssh authorized key. See, if there is no authorized key file, it will create a file. If there is already authorized key file, it will safely append it. You won't find any problems in that. So I'm just copy pasting it, guys, to save some time. Oops. Okay, so why we are using this lookup option here? Because I have to tell it that go to so and so location and get that file. So whenever you have to say go for that file and do it, you have to go with lookup. I'm mentioning there is a file that has to be copied, which is kept in home ansible.ssh idrsa.pub. Then we are giving the path where you have to keep it, and we are going to do it with root user. Now let's log in as Ansible user, right? I'll go to tasks folder. Now I'll just try out SSH to mhost3. See, without any password, it has allowed me to connect, but as, sorry, Ansible user. Try to connect with mhost2, no problem. Try to connect with mhost1, no problem. So I have built a trust relationship. If I do it manually, it is going to take a long time, but if we know how to do it, we can just keep this module ready and we can make it as a trust relationship between multiple machines, whichever we are connecting, right? Now, the next task and the last task is configuring sudo privileges, right? Give me a moment, guys. My battery of the laptop is dying. Let me connect it to uh, outlet. 1 second. All right. So let's see how we can add. See, I also need to add a privilege escalation for Ansible user. We want to perform all the task as Ansible user, and Ansible user as of now is a normal user. As a normal user, can I install the packages? As a normal user, can I change LVMs? Anything? Nothing I can do it, isn't it? So everything requires privilege escalation. That means we must be logged in as a root user in order to do this activity. So how can I, oh, 1 second, guys, excuse me, the power outlet is giving issue. I'm extremely sorry about that disturbances. Right. So if you want to make a normal user as an admin, as you know, you have to add information in sudoers file. So here, what I want to do, one more thing is, I wanted to create a backup file. As you know, sudo is an important file. So I want to create a backup file also. So you can just add one more thing. Same module I am using, line in file. I'm telling Ansible, go to all machines, use line in file and add something. So I'm telling argument in etc sudoers, add a line, state equals to present, add a line. Which line? Ansible all, that's it. And you can also add no password all. Now with this, if you say backup equals to yes, so what it is going to do, it is going to create a backup file for us. Okay, so I'll do this much. If you want, you can also use validate option. See, validate option is nothing but checking the sudo file configuration, is the changes added correct or not. So I'm ignoring that and I'm just providing remaining things. And now this task we have to do as a root user. So let me come back to root user for one last time. Now let us go for this thing. Ansible, or let me just copy it for faster work. So we are telling go to this particular thing, change it, add backup equals to yes. Let me close single quote and double quote. Now we want to perform this task as root user. So what it is going to do, it is going to go to each file, each node, and in each node it is going to add this line at the bottom. So when you don't mention insert before, insert after, so it will be going to the end of the file and making this change. So if you just look out two things, in etc sudoers there is a file available only with one name, or you can just go with sudo. So you'll find only one file is there, sudoers.com, sudoers etc sudoers. Next thing, go to tail etc sudoers. You'll not find any entry added so far. Let me hit enter. Did I made a mistake in Ginger block closing? 1 second. Maybe that extra inverted comma I have given. Okay, done. So it says a backup file is created in etc with the date and time format. Okay, let me just look out first of all. So you will find that there is a file created in etc sudoers with date and time. This is your backup file. Now you go to tail etc sudoers. You'll find that there is an entry added Ansible all. That means now Ansible user will have power to do administrative tasks. Now from this time onwards, we are not going to work with root anymore. We'll say bye bye to root. Everything we'll do by Ansible user. Who am I? Ansible user. So go to task folder in your home directory and you can perform any task. Let's do an experiment. There is a file called etcmotd. So etcmotd is a file. which contains message of the day. That means whenever you are trying to log in, it will be uh, printing some message. So what I want to do is that file is already available in every machine. If you go and check it out in mhost4, for example, cat etcmotd, the file is already there. So if the file is already there and you want to copy contents to that file, then what we'll do is we'll go with copy command and we'll go with an argument content. What content you want to add in which destination. More about copy command you can look out by going into uh, Ansible doc option. So I'll go for it on my master node. All right. So we are going to perform this task as a Ansible user, not as super user. You see, I'm Ansible user. Now let me run this command. We'll say Ansible. You can try it on all nodes. I'm trying it on one node, mhost4. Hyphen M copy module, hyphen A argument, content. Now content, whatever you want to add. For example, welcome to Ansible clients, right? And which file you are trying to put this data or add this data? I want to add it in etc mod d, right? Done. Now you can hit enter and see whether it will work or not. See, it says failed. Why it failed? It says destination is not writable. That means you are trying to do this task as a normal user. Guys, as a normal user, do you have power to edit etc file? Can I say cat etc mod d? Can I say vim etc mod d? See, it is telling read only. It won't allow a normal user to edit mod d file. So what is happening here? I'm trying to do this task as a normal user. That's the reason I'm not able to perform this task. And in the configuration file, if you just look it out, we have disable become directive. So I told that by default, it should not allow me to do any task as a sudo user. But on command line or in playbook, by passing hyphen hyphen become, it will allow you to convert yourself to sudo user, and this task will be performed as a sudo user. Now you see, it went on to other machine and added the data. Let me go back and check it out. Did you see that data is added? Or just read this file. See, it contains the data. Now, if I just log out and again log in, maybe I'll go back to node 4 or host 4. Log in as any user you want. Maybe I'm logging as root user. The moment you log in, the first message you will be getting is welcome to Ansible client. Now this was a super user file we have edited with sudo privilege. So hyphen hyphen become will be Ansible user sudo privilege what we have added. So guys, that's it for today. I don't want to go beyond this point. One more task is remaining, that is creating yum repository. This I'll show you on Monday. So we'll learn how to create a yum repository on the client, and then we will do some system admin task. That would be the conclusion of this course then. Okay, so we'll see all the remaining things on Monday. We'll create number of playbooks and we'll learn different tasks, how to perform a task. So far guys, anything? I think there might be many things. So at least something which you are not able to understand so far, let me know. Practice is must. Once you do practice, automatically the things will be easier. And always prefer reading Ansible doc. That will give you more knowledge on how to do the tasks. Before doing any activity, even in examination, if you are sitting, you're not able to understand, nobody is going to stop you. Go Ansible -doc, find out your result, copy paste, perform your task. That's how. Okay. Yeah, this is the RHC exam configurations. Like in the examination, it might give you the tasks like that. Whatever we are going to learn in Monday's class, these would be the tasks what that would be asking us. Like initial task would be setting up master node and clients, and then performing these playbooks. That's what we will be doing. So all practical based exam would be there. You would be given a machine with number of virtual machines inside it. So one we have to make as a master and the other ones we have to make as a client. Initial setup and running simple tasks. That would be the process. I'll share a few books with you people once the course is completed on Monday to prepare for RHCE and RHCSA. That would give you more insight of the examinations, how to write. Yeah. And anyway, I would be available anytime if you people are having any issues. We'll have a session. I'll try to clear your doubts and all. So we'll stop the session. Definitely, definitely. I mean, you have to be good at Linux topics. Then you can be master on Ansible as well. So we'll stop the session here, guys. See you on Monday, and we'll cover up the remaining things on Monday. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice weekend.